to Connect to Success with your host, Ashley Owens. I'm your personal networking concierge, where I have the pleasure and privilege of interviewing power networkers in the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. These guys won't stop laughing. I swear to God, we're going to redo this all again if you guys don't stop having fun on my show. Again, my name's Ashley Owens. I'm here with these two idiots from whatever.
Sounds about right.
So James Corbett and Daniel Lombard, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You're allowed to laugh. It's okay. It's my show. It's already off the rails. So guys, thank you again for being here today. James, you had a double whammy. You were here a couple weeks ago, or actually last week, but you decided to bring back your better half, which is Mr. Daniel.
100%.
Is that what it is? Okay, perfect. Why don't you do me a favor, because some people who didn't see your show, which is blasphemy, it's crazy. How about you from your perspective, tell people what Project Refit is, how you got started, and what makes it awesome and the #1 nonprofit to go to.
Sure. All right. So how it got started, I guess that's where we'll start. I was in the Army. I was an infantryman from 2013 to the end of 2017. In 2013 to 14, I went to Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
And then 2014 to 15, I went to Africa. But Afghanistan is kind of where it all happened.
Yeah.
So I was... we were a heavy weapons company, so it was 5 vehicles, and I was blown up twice.
Okay. Just
twice, 2 times, just
totally
nothing
fine.
crazy.
Nope.
First one was crazy. Second one wasn't anything.
No real world experience at all. Just
none. So you get trained to follow the vehicle that is in front of you, because if they didn't run over something, chances are you're not going to either. Well, it had just rained, and it's kind of hard to. There was a lot of track marks, and it was in a wadi, which is a dried out riverbed. They use them as highways, and we use them also. So I was talking to my lieutenant, who we were the only platoon who hadn't hit an IED yet. Mm-hmm. So I was turning to him and talking, because I look when I talk to somebody. Bad move there. Wrong choice. But I turned and was like, oh yeah, we're the only ones who didn't get hit by an IED.
That karma.
And I turned to look, and I was the second vehicle. So the lead vehicle had already made its turn onto the main road, and there was 7, 8 different track marks. So I didn't know which one was ours. So I kind of had to guess at where they turned. I guessed, and I guessed wrong. Yeah. So I ran over a pressure plated IED. It was about 200 pounds, which is
substantial.
Pretty big, yeah. It's not a smaller one. Like my second one was like 80 pounds, which is still, it's 80 pounds of explosives, but it's still. So it hit the first one, the 200-pound one, hit the back left tire and ruptured the oil and fuel line, which immediately ignited a fire. Mm-hmm. And in the vehicles they have these big like metal levers that are like locks, so you cannot get in from the outside. Period. Well, I didn't lock mine for whatever reason, and the interpreter behind me didn't lock his. So when the IED went off, the doors flew open, so the fire was just pouring in. But that concussive blast broke my helmet, so then I hit my head and got knocked unconscious a little bit. The gunner, who I'm actually really good friends with, you wear a harness.
Careful with your mic. Don't touch it.
Oh God!
Thank you.
Oh God! I
swear
broke.
to God.
I heard Mike. I'm like, okay.
Don't touch it.
So he's in a gunner's harness, and it locks into the bottom of the vehicle, so if there is an IED, you don't go flying out. Well, the IED was big, so he went flying out no matter what. So he blacked out. What else? There was 620 40 mics, which is essentially, I hate saying this because it got quoted once, and it's really not, it's a grenade bullet. Okay. Just you know what I mean, for lack of better terms. There were 620 of those. So there's a fire in the vehicle, 620 grenades, essentially. And I was kind of concussed, and I was fight or flight. I was flight. There was no fight in me at all. I was like, all right, I'm going to die right now, so I need to figure something out. So I was screaming to my my lieutenant, who was the one in charge of that vehicle. Like, everyone else was out of the vehicle. I was the only one still in. Because I was trapped. I couldn't get out the door because there was fire, and I didn't know if it was an ambush, and then I couldn't climb over the radio mount because my kit was too thick, and I wasn't in the mind to take it off at that point. That came later. So I remember just screaming, like, I'm on fire, oh my, like normal fire stuff.
You'll get there.
Yeah, sometimes.
So these experiences is what kind of started the idea for Project Refit?
Well, that's what caused my PTSD, and then my PTSD is kind of where, so all of that happened, and then I go on my Africa deployment. That is what it is. Nothing crazy happened there. And then I come home, and that's kind of where I noticed, something's not right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping. I was like irrationally, still am sometimes, but irrationally irritable. Like that color green, I would have been like, oh, God, for no reason. Yeah, like I'm gonna punch that green screen so hard.
Yeah.
And I was doing therapy, but I'm an internal person, so I'm always thinking like about me, whatever.
Right.
So at that time, I didn't necessarily believe that I was getting the quality of therapy that I thought I needed. Whether it was true or not was irrelevant, but I believed at that time that I wasn't getting it. I actually went online and looked for a combat, because I was infantry, so it's combat PTSD, which is specific. You know what I mean? So I wanted a group with other combat vets. So I found this other nonprofit. I'm not going to say their name because they're wonderful. It was just not for me. I got paired with a guy who it's a typing thing. So if you were in, you and I would type, and it's just a peer-to-peer support system. Beautiful, beautiful.
Right.
But I got paired with a dude who was in the Navy in the 80s. So like
The experiences weren't as
it's
similar.
that now I could talk to him happily, but
Right.
back then no, I needed an infantryman who went through some stuff
Yeah.
to kind of. So out of the blue, James reached out to me. We met.
And James, just you're not in you're not a veteran. Yep.
Nope.
Yeah.
Civilian. Okay.
So I was actually on leave from Afghanistan. So came back from Afghanistan, went home for a little bit, met him through a friend of a friend, and then we didn't talk for like, I don't know, a couple years. And then he reached out to me and basically asked what the Army does to prevent PTSD and suicide, suicidal ideations, and if they occur, how do you combat it? And I was blatantly honest with them. They don't do anything. They kind of usher you out. I mean, you get a percentage, you get paid, and stuff, but like the problem, no.
Right.
Problem doesn't get fixed. Right. And this was the time that I had used, around the time that I had used that other nonprofit. So I knew like, all right. So they were getting to be some lengthy messages, and I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, you want to just switch this to video chat, just mitigate all that? And he's like, yeah. So it turned into like me venting for 4 hours, just talking about my PTSD, what I didn't understand, just different parts of it.
With him?
Yeah.
With him.
Right,
Okay.
and civilian, no military.
Right.
And that was a time where I was very, I was one of those, now I say it's unhealthy thinking, but I think everybody needs to do it at that time.
Exactly.
Yes, it's an integration kind of thing. I don't think you jump straight into it.
No, and that kind of community that you've built for yourself kind of built up how Project Refit now runs its community.
Yeah, 100%.
So from your own experience, you saw that there was a need. You guys are now fixing it, and it's coming from a place where you never thought you would get that kind of support, because originally you had wanted to speak to somebody who was in the military, who was an infantryman, who's been through some stuff, and then you found James, who was that outlet for you. So when you guys are working with your community, what can someone expect when they come into the community? So let's go back. So when you see other people or other veterans that are going through the same thing that you went through, what does the program, that Project Refit, what do you guys do to maintain that community?
Honestly, I think the
Best
big
listeners.
Yeah, I think that's honestly that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Exactly
I think
what it is.
everything is so
Try that anytime you want to, James.
corporate and everything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everything's so we're laid back. We're down
Couldn't
to
tell.
earth. We're grassroots. We like to keep it. We like it's
One of the ways it was actually described was the one guy said to us, he's like, I've been to a lot of groups, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of different groups. They're like 90% because they're kind of like a little bit PC. He's like, you guys like 100% yourselves all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, like you kind of got a taste of that. Like, and I told you before, like
30
when Dan and I are
seconds in,
together,
I
like
can't.
it's different. Like we have fun, we're just chilling, we're talking, but like that's exactly what every single Zoom calls are. We have a good culture because we just want to be real with people.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's supposed to be, I want to hear what's going on. I want you to literally jump into our Zoom call when you're at your worst point and like talk to us to get that stuff off your chest so we can actually like prevent, not the worst point, but right before you're near that point where you need to like reach out to like a suicide hotline or maybe even like a therapist. Maybe we can help you get to one if you need it. And maybe you don't. Maybe you just need to talk to somebody, just hang out for a second, like get some stuff off your chest. You know, last night was a good example. I was up until 2 in the morning last night, like on one of our calls. Yeah, and I went to bed at like, I don't know, like 3 or whatever, because I was still thinking about it and like processing what just happened, kind of thing. And like the guy's good. Like we've talked to him for a couple of times, whatever. And he jumped in last night because he needed it, and he said that to us flat out. He's like, you guys are here always. He's like, it's either like, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or the app or whatever it is. There's always like the community of Project Refit is always there.
So what was it like for you when he came to you and vented for 4 hours? What was that experience for you?
So it was kind of cool. So just to kind of like back up a little bit, the reason why I reached out to him anyway, because he actually showed great leadership and emotional intelligence when he said to the entire world, hey, I have PTSD and I might come back and be a bit of an a-hole. Am I allowed to say that?
I don't know. Whatever they
yeah, whatever. So that's what he said, and I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
He's
I
cool.
use colorful words.
Yeah, we always do. I do as well. So I'm not gonna like throw you under the bus alone with that. Everybody does.
Everyone's from Jersey. We all got potty mouths. We all got potty
I'm a
mouths.
little aggressive. But in all seriousness though, like when I saw that status, and I was already thinking about this, I literally was like, I gotta talk to him. Like I met him a couple times, like one time actually for a couple hours. Like he was really cool. We got along. Like we talked. Like we took shots together. Like, you know, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you remember all of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
It was a good time. Well, yeah, there's a couple reasons why you don't. But but like, you know, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was fun. But yeah, so it was just it was
So
cool.
the relationship that you guys have now, we're gonna reel the two of you idiots back in. When the relationship that you
Got
two
me
have,
thinking about all the reasons. Way more than a couple.
Where are they?
It's like 18.
oh God! All right, gentlemen, I use that term loosely. Can the two of you please explain when someone comes into Project Refit, what can they expect from you guys?
Love.
Love, authenticity. I would think.
An obvious judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have rules.
Right.
Don't be a racist.
There's
Don't be
no
a bigot.
racist, no bigotry, none of that stuff.
Don't
no
act like a
homophobia.
therapist. Yeah, no homophobia.
Yeah,
Don't act like
we are not
therapist.
counselors,
Yeah.
so on those Zooms we profess like there's no diagnosing, there's no counseling. Like especially with me, I've been in therapy since 2016.
Yeah.
So I know some things.
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
a
you're more
therapist by any
self-aware than I
means.
think most people
Yes,
could be
yeah.
because you've had at least a little bit more of a perspective into
Yes.
why you think that the way that you do and the PSD has been triggering and all that.
So I never say, oh, you should go to therapy. It's like I've done therapy, it worked for me. I've done this type of therapy. I use me as an example. I use me as an example and not, I don't direct them. We're not counselors.
Well, guys, when we return, we're going to talk to more about their community and how they maintain and nurture that network, which is an incredibly powerful network that is very different than any business network that I have been privy to. So I'd like to hear more about your thoughts on that.
For sure.
So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Is now Rowan College at Burlington County.
Still the same great faculty.
At a community college ranked top 50 in the nation.
Basically, we earn more and pay less.
RCBC students are accepted at Rowan University after graduation.
And get a bachelor's degree for around $30,000.
Online and Mount Laurel students get a 15% Rowan University tuition discount.
And have many scholarship opportunities.
So you earn more and pay even less.
Rowan College at Burlington County.
Your path to success.
RVN TV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio and within 48 hours have a permanent digital copy of your live segment to link to your social media, embed into your company website, or use in email marketing. Investing in your brand is so very important, and we can't wait to have you as a guest.
back to Connected Success with me, Ashley Owens, your personal networking concierge, where we talk to the power networkers of the greater Philadelphia, South Jersey area, and now all over the country because we have this thing called Zoom. So, but today I have the pleasure, and everybody who's watching, I have the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing Dan and James. Daniel and James.
Daniel.
Dan.
It's your choice.
Just things.
It's your world, I'm just living in it.
That's fine. So they're here actually talking about their nonprofit called Project Refit, which is one of the most profound networks that I've had the pleasure of actually knowing about. So before the break, we had talked about why you got started, how your PTSD kind of shined a light on a situation that a lot of people, a lot of veterans go through that isn't really necessarily looked on. So when you decided to put this project together and you decided to be a part of it as well, the two of you decided to come together. Tell me about the kind of community that you wanted to build. So the foundation of that, because obviously you said in the beginning there's no bigotry, there's no racism, there's no homophobia. You guys obviously, these are the general things that apparently need to be said now in groups. But what was the goal in the beginning for this kind of network?
To be honest with you, I mean,
no plans.
We allow.
Yeah.
Well, no, there was.
I think it was the general consensus was we wanted to save a life. Like that
Right.
was the bar we set.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily building a community really. But we didn't really think that far ahead on it.
Yeah.
So
like to that degree, I don't think.
We also talked a lot about how, going back to the 90%, 100% thing, we literally just wanted to build something that we would want to be a part of.
Fair.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
we wanted to build something where, like, you can come in, you can make fun of the other person, like, I mean, rip on them, right?
Yeah.
Like, he called me it because, like, I have red hair. Yeah. Like, that's.
Got it. Sorry.
It's actually hilarious,
It's
right?
kind of amazing, yeah.
And I literally laughed for like 20 minutes after that, and everyone else did, and it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're trying to build. Things where you come in, you can laugh, you can hang out, right?
Yeah.
And but at the same time, when somebody goes in the private Zoom, like when we're in the chat during the calls, hey, I need to talk. It's like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Talk,
Yeah.
and everybody stops. Right, and that's what we want to be a part of. Be real, right? We want to listen to you. So, yeah, that's
And
important.
I think another aspect that we definitely didn't think of in the very, very beginning. Now with the Zooms, obviously it's a thought, but the divide between civilians and veterans.
Yep.
Like I any chance I get to talk about this, I do, just because I love bringing that up. But because I know I know veterans, especially combat veterans with PTSD, who have held off on getting help for it. So it's a very
sometimes for a year, like 20 plus years. You're talking about
Thank you.
The civilian.
Divide.
Yep.
So
the one
so
example that's phenomenal, probably.
I was worried. I was worried about the Zooms specifically because they started off as veteran, and then it's Corona. It's people are isolating. Our mission statement is combat isolation. So obviously
Literally.
civilians and whatnot can come in the Zooms now also during that time that we were doing it. And a girl came in and she shared something that happened. Civilian girl came in and shared something that happened to her. And I wasn't really too worried about how they were going to react to her story. It was when they shared and she gave her advice. I was worried how they were going to take that because we're kind of particular with where we get our healing. I get in the beginnings.
The I statements and such.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she shared her story, and they, no one blinked, no one even batted an eye, and they were talking to her like they talked to me or him or somebody else. And then when somebody shared some deep stuff, and she gave a potent answer, something beautiful, and they there was no issue. There was no divide. So we've kind of figured out that pain is pain, trauma is trauma. It doesn't matter what caused it.
We proved it.
Yes.
Is what we did.
Yes.
So do you think that now the influx of civilians into this originally, this veteran group has been a benefit, or are you guys actively seeking or allowing more civilians in, or do they kind of have to prove themselves before they come in?
It's not about proving yourself. It's about you have to be genuinely invited by one of the guys.
Fair enough. Okay.
By
so you guys
guys, I
have a
mean
vetting process.
asexually, by the way,
Right.
a woman, female as well.
Yeah.
It has to be an invite. And also family members. I want to make this really clear.
Mm-hmm.
Family members are allowed, right? We just had a woman. We've had multiple actually who've come in, but there was one woman recently that came in. And a cousin took his own life. It was a Marine and also a police officer, and opened up about that with us. And then actually last night opened up about something else. I'm not going to share any of that, of course, because it is hers. But it is it's an honor to know that people are looking at Project Refit now as oh my God, I can go to these guys as an outlet. Like I can go to these, like this group is going to listen no matter what. We will listen, right?
Do you think it's kind of aligned with? And I had a conversation with somebody the other day, which is why I'm bringing this up.
Sure.
Is that because AA has that effect of community, but AA doesn't really work. And do you think you guys have a?
It works if you want it to work.
That's what it is with therapy.
Yeah,
It's
well,
you
more
get
about
what you
that.
give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've seen it. People come in these Zooms and they're there for attention. They're there to get those, just that, almost did it.
Yeah.
That stuff from
Almost touch that mic.
the military. You know, they want that camaraderie again, but it's not. Some people they're the attention seekers, so it's like weeding that out. It's a little difficult, but I mean.
And you guys obviously monitor their conversations, and you kind of make sure things are on track.
We try to keep them on track.
Do you have like an agenda when they come in? It's just
100% not.
Yeah.
And is it all virtual?
It is all virtual right now.
For now.
What we're doing, we actually have a pretty big plan. We are going to accomplish it within 10 months.
Nice.
We were actually just told that we were the recipients of what's called Halo Ball by SJYPA.
Yeah.
So we're going to be the recipients of that. So we're going to be able to get it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a big
Thank you.
deal, guys.
That's a really
Large.
big deal.
Very large
We're
deal.
very, very excited.
Holy,
So we're going to get.
with that next time. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
so
that's great.
Really appreciate that. But we're going to be getting our first mobile base, which is a truck and a trailer.
You were talking about that the last time,
Yep.
so it's now coming to
It's
fruition.
happening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just get so excited when I hear this.
I'm getting excited right now too, but I'm trying to keep my cool.
Why?
Before,
It's
like,
my show. I'm freaking out for all of us.
We're like, woo! You know, it's like crazy. You know.
Wow.
'Cause we wanna-
Screaming like inside.
Inside, yeah. But it's literally, we're gonna get that truck and trailer. We're gonna prove the model of like, we're gonna show up directly with our radio checks to guys in person, to cardboard boxes, houses, apartments, like veterans, first responders, military, even like. We want to show up and bring the whole community with us, like to a guy's doorstep, right? So, and again, guys, I mean asexually, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But I also really want to make clear that that mobile base is going to be the first of what we plan to have as many, because we really want to have these to be like eventually operate as community hubs and engagement centers for veterans and first responders to be able to come together, including families, to come together at like concerts, you know, Ironmans, like different events that are happening all around, because we want to get them out of their homes, and we don't want to send them to one location that's isolated from the rest of society, right? We want to actually engage them back into the community again.
And
so
how are you guys combating with the whole COVID thing right now with that plan?
it's been nothing but phenomenal so far. Yeah.
Why?
The reason why is because we were built for this.
Yeah.
We are the first and only in the country to be able to say that we came up with this hybrid theory to actually say that the future of all technology, honestly, is going to be this connection between the two, between technology and in-person support, or not just support, but in-person interaction.
Right.
And in our case, support, where we want to engage guys 24/7, literally, right? We want you to have locations where you can go. We want to have other nonprofit organizations that we can show up to their event, and we might be able to bring more veterans with us, right? Simply because we're there hanging out.
Or have a place where they can go to town to take a break from the original.
You want to hear what the original? I'm going to give I'm going to give the original idea of how we
okay.
came up with the mobile base, actually. So I worked security years ago, and I was over at the Tweeter. Let's go. So I was at the Tweeter Center, and I remember there was this one time there was a guy who was sweating, he was like frozen up pretty much, and like we had to escort him back to the front. I didn't know what was going on. I still don't know what was happening, right? So we took him back. We put him into a concrete room, right? Like
a jail cell.
Awesome. Let's put you into a concrete room that just like away from everybody. And in fact, you'll see other drunk people come in throwing up everywhere. Let's just add to your whatever was happening to you, right?
Yeah.
He could have been a combat vet going through a PTSD moment, right? Having PTSD, right? What we said, when I said to Dan, when I was like, dude, check this out. I figured out how to make.
Like 90% of our days have started.
Yeah. Dude.
I'm listening.
I'm like, check it out. This is what we got. So I figured out how to basically make that bridge happen for us. And that was when that moment that clicked in my head. I was like, what if we could bring him out to a location, to the parking lot where there's other vets, other first responders, other people that understand him, and just like sit him down, hang out, right? Like in that moment, the guy's not thinking of killing himself. He's just like freaking out. He's scared of like whatever's happening around him. He doesn't have to back him up. He needs people that understand him just to be with him, right? So the other thing too is it's very tough, right? So the other thing too that you think about with that moment what if there was, and this is something that I want to do personally with our first one as well, is I want to get a dog specifically for that base.
Yep.
I want to show the power of like, therapy dogs and other types of therapy too, eventually on all these different mobile bases, to actually get people and direct them to nonprofits that will be able to get them a dog. We're not going to do it, right? We can't. We
But
have
you can
other things we're
partner and
focused on.
collaborate, yeah.
Exactly. So we can actually help out the community of different nonprofits in the area, right? And it becomes more of true partnership rather than competition, which sometimes the nonprofit space, a lot of people don't know,
Yep.
suffers from.
Right.
A lot
of the time.
of the time.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but at the same time I understand it. And in fact, like, I want to almost eventually get to the point, kind of an ask right now to everybody who's watching.
Please do.
I want to get to the point where we don't even have to touch grants and things like that. I would rather have private donations. Another reason why is because we're not so PC. Because, I mean, like, we might get, if we go after a private grant, they might have guidelines that say you can't say this or that and you can't do that, you can't curse anymore.
The only
on your
reason
live.
why it works is because you guys are authentically
We're
yourself.
so real.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
why
yeah.
That is
it works.
who
That's
we
why
are.
it works.
If you say we can't curse, we can't joke around, we can't make fun of people, like on there, like, you kidding me? We're not Project Refit. We're not being, that's not that brotherhood, sisterhood thing that's being built. That's not helping people, right? Like, we want you to make fun of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we want
me, please.
roast us, right? Like, it's okay. Like, make us, if it's
Yeah.
funny, you gotta
Yes,
be funny.
yes.
Yeah,
God.
of course.
That's actually
If
one
you're
of the rules.
not, that is, if
if
you're
you're
not
not
funny,
funny,
don't.
you're not allowed to
Let's
make
go.
jokes. Like,
Oh,
You
God.
have to. You
Don't
have to be
even-
funny.
Yeah.
But in all reality, if you think about the power behind just those small little things,
Yeah.
that mobile base alone, the mobile app, Project Refit Blue Skies, veterans, first responders, reach out to our page, let us know, because we will give you the access code. We're not going to say it live ever.
Explain what the access code's for.
The access code means only you can create an account, and no
With
civilians will be able to.
the app,
With
correct?
the app, the Project Refit Blue Skies app.
So explain what the app is.
Yeah, so the app is literally the community hub for Project Refit. We're going to be putting in a bunch of resources in there. It's like a social media platform, but we have tools inside of it that will allow you to connect to your fire team. So find your fire team. So connect to your fire team instantly, right? So I'll give you an example. There was actually a video that was recently talked about where you pick up a phone, you call the first guy. If he doesn't pick up, call another guy. Call another guy. Call another guy. Okay, hold up, stop. That's a lot of calling, and when you're like thinking about like suicide, or you're sad, or you're depressed, you are not going to do all of that work.
Nope.
So what we did is we came up with a tool called the Radio Check, where literally you hit one button. It's going to connect you instantly to your top 5 fire team guys, instantly. So for the friends. So that's what we did. That's what we built. It's a social media platform with tools built to help you.
So what is the ask?
The ask again is we need you guys to understand that you need to download the app.
Yeah.
You need to use this thing. You need to interact with us. You need to jump on our video checks and hang out with us. That's what our ask is to first responders and veterans. And to everybody on the monetary side, if you become a monthly donor with us, you're actually going to end up getting your name on a mobile, inside of a mobile base. And at $25, you'll get your name literally inside of it. The first 300 are going to get their names hand engraved into the back of our truck, our first truck. And then you're going to get your names on our website and everything like that. But every $25 will keep our app up and running for a day, right? So like $25, another $25 every day that you donate, or every month you donate $25, another day that we're live. We're going to be able to hire developers, and 100% of their salary is actually a program expense that's going to go directly back to veterans and first responders. So we're going to be able to move this program forward even more. So that's our ask.
Guys, do me a favor. The two of you look into that camera and tell people how they can find you.
Which one?
That one.
That one right there. Yeah.
That one. No,
The pretty
this
one on the left
God's sake.
for us.
Look at that one.
I'm doing
And
it.
Thank you. Where can they find you?
ProjectRefit.us is our website, and then
d@projectrefit.us.
yeah, and I'm also Jay. That's our email. Jay, just the letter @projectrefit.us. You're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Project Refit. Just look us up. We're everywhere on there. So
Twitch.
We're actually starting a live stream. We have a guy, Patrick Carney, my man. Love him. He also has a nonprofit himself, but he's actually going to be live streaming video games for us every Thursday from, I think, starting next week or tonight. He'll be live streaming on Twitch. So to give another experience for veterans, a younger veteran generation, we'll be able to jump in there, or demographic, that's the word. We'll be able to just jump in, hang out, and shoot the breeze with a combat veteran himself. He is awesome and also very funny. So yeah, good guy.
Guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank everybody for watching this smorgasbord of a show.
Let's go.
My name is Ashley Owens. I'm your personal
That was
network
for you, Gary.
concierge, and I had the pleasure and privilege of interviewing both James and Danielle from Project Refit. If you'd like to get involved, make sure you reach out to these jabronis at some point, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
See you, everybody.
Bye.